The zombie argument, a thought experiment popularized by philosopher David Chalmers, has provoked intense debates and discussions in the realm of philosophy of mind. This provocative idea imagines a being that is physically and behaviorally identical to a human but lacks conscious experience, qualia, or sentience. In this review, we will delve into the zombie argument, its significance, criticisms, and its implications for our understanding of consciousness. Before we dive in, if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It truly helps us grow. Now, let's get started. To begin, it's essential to understand the core of the zombie argument. Chalmers' proposition is simple yet perplexing. Imagine a world that is physically identical to ours in every way, from the atoms that make up our bodies to the neural connections in our brains. In this world, there exist beings who are behaviorally indistinguishable from humans, displaying the same reactions and responses to external stimuli. However, unlike humans, these beings lack conscious experience. They have no subjective awareness, no inner thoughts, and no qualitative experiences. In other words, they are philosophical zombies, or zombies for short. The significance of the zombie argument. The zombie argument challenges our fundamental understanding of consciousness and raises profound questions. It forces us to confront the hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by Chalmers. The hard problem asks why and how physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experience. In essence, it questions the relationship between the physical world and the world of consciousness. Chalmers' thought experiment invites us to consider whether consciousness is a necessary byproduct of physical processes, or if it's possible to conceive of a scenario where identical physical processes result in a lack of consciousness. This raises a series of implications and challenges for various philosophical theories of mind. The physicalist response. Physicalism, as a philosophical stance, offers a compelling response to the zombie argument, firmly rooted in the belief that the material world and its processes hold the key to understanding all phenomena, including consciousness. This perspective asserts that every mental state, subjective experience, and conscious awareness can ultimately be reduced to or explained by physical processes within the brain and body. From the physicalist viewpoint, the concept of zombies appears incoherent for several reasons. First and foremost, physicalists argue that consciousness is an emergent property of complex physical systems, particularly the intricacies of the human brain. They contend that consciousness is not something separate or mysteriously added to the physical world. Rather, it arises naturally from the interactions of neurons, synapses, and electrochemical processes. In the context of the zombie argument, physicalists emphasize that if these beings were indeed physically identical to humans, down to the very atoms and neural connections in their brains, then the emergence of consciousness should be an inevitable outcome. The physicalist perspective implies that there is no room for the existence of philosophical zombies in a world where physical identity is maintained because consciousness is seen as an inherent result of the specific physical configurations found in humans. While the physicalist response to the zombie argument is persuasive, it's important to note that it does not entirely settle the debate. The nature of consciousness remains a deeply complex and philosophically rich topic, and alternative viewpoints continue to challenge and expand our understanding of this enigmatic phenomenon. However, physicalism remains a dominant and influential perspective within the philosophy of mind, offering a compelling framework for addressing the questions raised by the zombie argument. The conceivability versus possibility debate. Central to the zombie argument is the concept of conceivability. Chalmers argues that if we can conceive of a world with zombies, it is at least metaphysically possible. This idea has led to further debates about whether conceivability necessarily implies possibility. Critics argue that the mere act of conceiving something does not make it metaphysically possible, as human intuitions can be fallible and biased. This debate highlights the philosophical challenge of drawing conclusions about the nature of reality based on thought experiments. The role of qualia and subjective experience. Qualia, often defined as the qualitative aspects of conscious experience, play a pivotal role in the zombie argument. Chalmers asks us to consider whether zombies can truly lack qualia, and if so, what this implies for our understanding of consciousness. Some philosophers argue that the concept of qualia is inherently problematic and that zombies help expose the limitations of our language and conceptual framework when discussing consciousness. Implications for dualism and materialism. The zombie argument also has implications for dualism and materialism, two prominent theories of mind. Dualism posits that the mind and the body are distinct substances, while materialism asserts that the mind is reducible to physical processes. Zombies challenge dualism by suggesting that a physical replica of a human could lack consciousness. Materialists, on the other hand, face the challenge of explaining why identical physical processes in the brain could yield different results in terms of consciousness. Critiques of the zombie argument. The critics of the zombie argument raise several valid concerns that add depth to the ongoing discourse. One prominent criticism revolves around the perceived incoherence of the notion of zombies. Detractors argue that it is inherently problematic to conceive of beings that are physically identical to humans yet lack consciousness. They claim that such a scenario stretches the boundaries of our conceptual understanding and may be, in essence, a paradox. After all, if physical and behavioral identity with humans is maintained, what differentiates consciousness from its absence in these hypothetical creatures? Additionally, some philosophers cast doubt on the validity of the argument itself, asserting that it relies heavily on human intuitions, which are inherently subjective and fallible. Intuitions, they argue, may not be reliable guides for making metaphysical claims about the nature of consciousness. This viewpoint highlights the challenge of using thought experiments, rooted in our subjective experiences, as a basis for drawing conclusions about the objective reality of consciousness. Furthermore, while the zombie argument poses intriguing questions, it does not offer a definitive solution to the nature of consciousness. It remains inconclusive in the sense that it does not definitively prove or disprove the existence of consciousness in a world of zombies. This leaves room for ongoing exploration and debate within the philosophy of mind, emphasizing that the ultimate nature of consciousness is a complex and elusive puzzle that continues to captivate the minds of philosophers and scientists alike. In conclusion, the zombie argument in the philosophy of mind is a thought-provoking and controversial concept that challenges our understanding of consciousness. It forces us to confront the hard problem of consciousness and raises questions about the relationship between the physical and the mental. While it has generated significant debate and discussion, it has not provided a conclusive solution to the nature of consciousness. Instead, it serves as a testament to the complexity and mystery that still surrounds this fundamental aspect of human experience. The zombie argument reminds us that the philosophy of mind remains a vibrant and evolving field, with many questions yet to be answered.